Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Council meeting for Monday, December 22nd. First thing I'll do is call the meeting to order and welcome everybody in the gallery tonight and those watching at home on YouTube. We are on YouTube Live tonight and not on Rogers as we normally are. The first thing I'll do is call for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Hiscock, can I get a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor, thank you. Yeah, all in favor of the agenda? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is carried. We have one proclamation tonight, and it's for the Red Ribbon campaign. So I'll read that now. Project Red Ribbon Day. Whereas Project Red Ribbon is a commitment made by Canadians to drive safe and sober. It is a highly visible community public awareness campaign which depends on volunteer participation to promote the message that deaths and injuries resulting from impaired driving are needless tragedies and totally preventable. Whereas each year from the beginning of November until the first Monday after New Year's, MAD Canada chapter volunteers across the country distribute red ribbons and or car decals and ask Canadians to display a red ribbon and or car decal on their vehicles, keychain, or any personal item like their purse, briefcase, or backpack. And whereas the MAD Canada red ribbon and or car decal is a powerful symbol, by displaying the red ribbon or car decal, people are making a personal commitment to drive sober. A red ribbon or car decal are also used to pay tribute to the thousands of Canadians who have lost their lives or have been injured as a result of impaired driving. The red ribbon and or car decal also reinforces the message to drive sober throughout the holidays and the year. So therefore be resolved that I, Mike Brown, Mayor of the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor, do hereby declare November 26th as Project Red Ribbon Day in Grand Falls-Windsor, Newfoundland and Labrador. And I'd like to thank Jim Smith and Phil Kelly, who were here in the latter part of November, and we did the proclamation for those two individuals. And we'd like to thank them for their volunteer work with MAD Canada in keeping the Red Ribbon Project alive and well. And of course, no time is a good time to be driving impaired, and we'd especially at Christmas. So we'd like to get that message out there, and you'll notice that the council all have the red ribbons on their tables tonight, so we're all in support of that and urge people not to drive impaired during the Christmas season or at any time. And before we get into the agenda, I'll call on Deputy Mayor Bennett now to make a presentation.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'm a very proud member of a Mi'kmaq person, and many of our communities across the province have flags in their chamber, and Grand Falls-Windsor is a Mi'kmaq community. So the largest centres we do have, and we do have our Grand Council flag hanging at our chambers of all the major towns and cities in the province. So I would like to present a flag to the mayor so we can have it, and we can have the flag hung in this chamber also.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Play that proudly in the new year, and it will be there for the duration for sure. So thank you, Deputy Mayor Bennett, for that. Okay, so item number 4 is the adoption of the minutes from the meeting of November 18th, 2025. Can I have a mover and a seconder for those minutes, please? Councillor Feener, motion. Councillor Janes, seconder. Any errors or omissions? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Any business rising out of the minutes from November 18th, 2025? There being none, we'll move on to our first item on the agenda, number 6.1, the Provincial Forest Management Plan and Domestic Firewood Decision Note, and I'll call on Councillor Janes, please.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. A decision is required from council on whether the town will support domestic firewood cutting within municipal boundaries as outlined in the 2026 to 2030 Forest Management Plan for Forest Districts 10 and 11. I move proposed resolution for council that council approves support for domestic firewood cutting within Forest Management District 10 and 11 as outlined in the Forest Management Plan, maps provided to the town by the Department of Fisheries, Forestry, and Agriculture.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Councillor James. Can I get a seconder for Councillor Hollett? Thank you. Any discussion with respect to the resolution? Councillor James.
It is recommended that the town of Grand Falls-Windsor provide its support to the Department of Fisheries, Forestry, and Agriculture for the proposed domestic wood cutting areas shown Forest Management Districts 10 and 11 mapping for 26 to 2030. Grand Falls-Windsor will continue to have input in this planning process, and there is no financial implications within this decision. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor James. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Item number 6.2, Councillor James.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Being still a little bit new here, I'm hoping I'm doing this process properly. The issue, the Community Service Department is seeking council's feedback and direction on exploring a wheelchair-accessible busing service in Grand Falls, Windsor to help address transportation challenges faced by our most vulnerable residents. Staff are seeking council's feedback and direction on whether there is interest in further exploring the idea of establishing a wheelchair busing service in Grand Falls, Windsor. Advancing this concept would require staff time to research available models, assess local demand, consult potential partners, and pursue external funding opportunities. It is important to note that a service of this nature may ultimately require future staffing or financial commitments from the town if external partners or funding sources are not sufficient to offset operating requirements. Similar services are successfully operated in other jurisdictions, such as the model used in Springdale, but additional research is needed to fully understand the range of options, excuse me, the range of options available and evaluate which approaches may be most suitable for our community. Staff would also encourage local partners, including the Health Coalition Social Determinants of Health Subcommittee, seniors groups, churches, and other identified user groups to determine the level of community need and the potential for collaboration. And before I sit, I want to take this opportunity to thank my colleague and friend Sean Feener, who I know has worked quite hard on this over the past months and years in helping to bring this to our attention, and I look forward to a healthy, hearty discussion on this very, very important issue. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor James. Any more discussion with respect to the Councillor Feener?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, as Councillor James stated, this has been an ongoing issue for a number of years, especially since the local taxi company we had in town, excuse me, their bus that they were using has since been, the company's closed down and the bus is not in use no more. I've spoke to numerous residents and the hardships that they endure during, especially these kind of months where wheelchair accessibility, getting around the community is next to nil. Once the snow and ice just gets on the streets, they're almost stuck in their houses and apartments for the winter. I had one issue there. One lady had told me that she had went to go to a couple of shopping centers and had a doctor's appointment. So she said that she rearranged and had her doctor's appointment early in the morning to offset because she was going to get a ride. When she went out to the entrance of the local long-term care facility here in town, there was two other people waiting to go to a doctor's appointment. Three of those individuals were in wheelchairs. The car that was going to take them to the hospital had access to take one wheelchair. The other two individuals, you talk about dehumanizing these people. Like, these people had to sit in the car and wait for somebody to go into the hospital, bring out an extra wheelchair, and basically get them into these chairs. And this day and age, I think that we should be open to accessibility for everybody in this community, no matter what age, race, or any injuries that you might have, to put you in a wheelchair or make you, use a walker, or whatever the case may be. I mean, we really do need it in this town. I don't know if another company in town might want to take this on, and maybe we could help them, or maybe we would have to do it ourselves. But I think that it's something that we really got to look at in the new year and have a good hard look at it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Feener. Any more discussion with respect to the wheelchair busing services in Grand Falls-Windsor? Okay, and this is a good idea. Grand Falls-Windsor is big enough for us to have a wheelchair busing service, I think. And we look forward to the staff after Christmas taking on this, taking on the wheelchair busing and coming back to council with some information on how we go about it, and it's badly needed. And we've all gotten calls as council to with people who are in a wheelchair that have multiple issues getting around, not just in winter, summer, but all seasons. So we look forward to that, and we'll give it we'll get this done. I'm sure we will. Yes, go ahead, Councillor Feener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, and another issue, with the wheelchair accessibility in this town, a lot of the businesses don't have the automatic door opener, and it's so embarrassing. I feel so bad for people who've got to go up in the wheelchair and wait by the door for someone to actually physically open the door for them to get inside, the access to stores and stuff. So I think it's time that a lot of the businesses in town who are accepting patrons to come in and support their business. I think it's time that they really take a hard look at making it as accessible, as open, and openly as transparent as possible.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Feener. And certainly the provincial legislation states that all businesses have to be wheelchair accessible. So as we identify the businesses that are not accessible, we'll get our staff to visit them and ensure that that's done too. Thank you very much. Okay, any more discussion on that? We'll move on to item number 6.3, Councillor Janes.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. The title is Rural Innovation Lab Memorandum of Understanding. If I may, Mayor Brown, before I start, this is a fairly voluminous note. I don't want to take up too much time because most people who know me know I don't take up a lot of time when I'm talking. But anyway, if I could have some leeway here for a moment, because there's a lot of important information here, and I'm not so sure that a lot of people in town are fully aware of how this particular program has been working in the past, because it's been ongoing for a while. If I may, Mayor. The Rural Health Simulation Lab has been completed and renamed the Rural Innovation Lab. On November 24th, 2025, the Grand Falls-Windsor Town Council were provided a tour and information session outlining Newfoundland Health Services investment to advance rural health in Newfoundland and Labrador. NLHS proposes signing a memorandum of understanding with the town of Grand Falls-Windsor focused on rural health innovation. NLHS is also requesting the town support in educating citizens about the new NLHS health application. In 2026, Newfoundland Health Services plans to host a rural health innovation event in Grand Falls-Windsor, inviting approximately 30 healthcare companies to explore opportunities to establish or expand services in the community. Newfoundland Health Services provided a presentation tour of the newly completed Rural Innovation Lab on November 24th. The session included an overview of Newfoundland Health Services' planned investments and the strategic role of the lab in enhancing rural health innovation across Newfoundland and Labrador. NLHS is seeking a formal partnership with the town through an MOU, plus collaboration on public education for the NLHS health application, and support from the planned 2026 Rural Health Innovation event that will engage approximately 30 healthcare companies interested in delivering services in the region. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor is the lead proponent of the development of the Rural Health Simulation Lab, now the Rural Innovation Lab, a state-of-the-art training and innovation facility designed to strengthen rural healthcare delivery. And I accent again, the town of Grand Falls-Windsor is the lead proponent of this development. The lab was developed in partnership with Newfoundland Health Services, Memorial University's Faculty of Medicine and Nursing, and supported by the South Central Health Foundation. The lab provides a controlled, immersive environment where healthcare professionals and students can develop and refine clinical skills tailored to rural practice. Through realistic hands-on simulations, participants gain experience in addressing the unique challenges of rural healthcare. Work on the project began in 2019, but progress was interrupted by the COVID pandemic and the restructuring of provincial health authorities. Funding for the project was approved in March 2024. NLHS will enhance the Innovation Lab in Grand Falls-Windsor to its full potential in the following areas: rural healthcare professional development, attraction and retention of professionals, providing advanced training that will attract and retain physicians, nurses, and allied health providers, support for indigenous and rural communities through partnership with Conn River Health and Social Services, delivers culturally relevant training and career pathways, economic growth, which will create new educational, employment, and investment opportunities, supporting the town's role as a regional service center. Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Councillor Janes. Any more discussion with respect to the Rural Innovation Lab? Okay, there being none, move on to item number 7.1, and I'll call on Deputy Mayor Bennett, please.
Thank you, Mayor. A decision is required to discontinue support for the Dolly Parton Book Club for the 2026 calendar year. Proposed resolution from Council, that Council approve the recommendation that no longer fund the Dolly Parton Book Club program for 2026.
Resolution, can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Janes, thank you. Any discussion with respect to the resolution?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Community Service Department has been administering the Dolly Parton Book Program for the past 3 years. Every child who registers from the ages 0 to 5 receives a free book from the Foundation on a monthly basis for high education and learning. The books are $3.75 each, with 75% of the funds coming from the private donor within the Dolly Parton Book Club, and the town of Grand Falls-Windsor pay the rest. The program has been seeking high numbers of kids, registered 542 being signed up to the program. 346 of those kids are from Grand Falls-Windsor, and an additional 186 are from the central area. Council has budgeted $10,000 annually for this program for the past 3 years. In 2025, due to the higher registration, the allotment will be $15,000 till we reach the end of December. In saying that, the money will still be left there, the $10,000, and we will be partnering with the local library for different programs in the future.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Bennett, I'm sorry. Any more discussion with respect to the Dolly Parton Book Club? And it's important for everybody to remember that the money that was originally scheduled for the Dolly Parton Book Club will be put into the library here in Grand Falls-Windsor, and kids from the Grand Falls-Windsor and St. Newfoundland area will be able to take part in that as well. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution's carried. We'll now move into item number 8.1, Public Works and Development, 2026 Saturday drop-off schedule. The information note. Councillor Hiscock, is it?
No, Councillor Feeder.
Councillor Feener, okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Saturday,
Mayor.
the 2026 Saturday schedule.
To present council with the proposed 2026 Saturday drop-off schedule, including the annual spring cleanup period and 2 household hazardous waste days events.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Feener. So the Saturday drop-off schedule is done for 2026. Certainly worthwhile for the town of Grand Falls-Windsor to be investing in that drop-off, as it's used every Saturday by many. And it gets the garbage out of your back garden and prevents people, hopefully, from going to different areas and dumping, which we've seen all too often. And this helps, at least, to eliminate that. Okay, thank you, Councillor Feener, for that. Item number 8.2, Councillor Feener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council decision is required for approval to proceed with funding application for the PLC upgrade at the Regional Water Treatment Plant under the Regional CCBF Provincial Targeted Infrastructure Fund, including authorization to engage engineering and integration services along with the installation of all new PLC equipment. Proposed resolution for Council. Be it resolved that Council approve the Regional WTP PLC upgrade project funding application to be submitted under the CCBF Provincial Targeted Infrastructure Fund at an estimated cost of $1,039,000 HST included, And this also includes including design, construction, and constituents.
Councillor Feener. Okay, and we'll go back to item number 8.2, Councillor Feener, on the new water tank and rehabilitation of existing standpipe. Item number 8.2.
The ERWTP currently operates on an older PLC system, which is discontinued in 2018 and will reach end of service in 2026. The estimated cost is $1,039,000 for the design, construction, consistencies, and taxes. This will allow for a complete replacement of the outdated PLC within the WDP, which currently represents a significant risk in the event of a failure, given the parts are no longer manufactured or stocked. This project aligns with operational reliability, cybersecurity, and long-term maintenance goals for the ERWTP.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Feener. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Hiscock, thank you. Any more discussion on the new water storage tank and rehabilitation of existing 3.6 meter standpipe? There being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is carried. We'll move on down to item number 9.1. Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council direction is required on whether to proceed with renaming streets with duplicate common names, and if so, what criteria and approach staff should follow to implement the changes. And I propose that council direct staff to proceed with renaming streets with common names, beginning with the streets with the fewest properties impacted, and that the town support effective residents with reasonable costs and administrative requirements associated with a civic address change. Staff will return to council with the final recommended street selections and proposed new names for approval.
Resolution, can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Hollett, thank you. Any discussion with respect to the resolution? Councillor Hiscock, please.
Mayor, just an update that when the towns amalgamated a number of years ago, of course, we found that some of the towns, say the former town of Windsor and Grand Falls, had similar names. And everything we thought was okay, but now, unfortunately, some of the emergency providers are getting mixed up. Even taxi with new drivers are getting mixed up with the addresses. So we're getting a number of like Brown Avenue, Brown Heights, Cater Avenue, Cater Place. You know, Earl Street, Earl Place. So what we're going to do, Mr. Mayor, is direct staff to investigate this and bring some recommendations forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? Councillor James.
Well, maybe not respect to the resolution, but I just want to clarify. So when these names come back for recommendation, they will, before there's any decisions made on any selected name, any selected street that's going to be moved, it'll come back to council, and council will have the final say on what names they're going to be and where they're going to go.
Some time ago, just the old council determined a list of names that will be used next for any new streets, or that will be used in this instance as well. So I think we got 10 names picked, the old council picked, so we get through those 10 names, and then this council will pick the next 10. Certainly, this process will expedite all that, for sure. And it's long overdue that we change some of the common street names. We got ambulances going to Exploits Lane, thinking there's Exploits Avenue, for example. We got them going to Earl Place, thinking there's Earl Street. It has happened in the past, not recently, and that's why we're proceeding to change those names.
No problem there, but like I say, Mayor, but we will have input.
Yes,
as a council.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion on the street names changing? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution's carried. Item number 9.2. Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council approval of Municipal Plan Amendment Number 23, 2025, and Rural Development Regulations Amendment Number 30, 2025, under Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000. And I propose that Council, under the authority of Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, approves Amendment Number 23, 2025, to the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor Municipal Plan as adopted. And further, that council, under the authority of Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, approves Amendment Number 30, 2025, to the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor Development Regulations as adopted.
Okay, we have a resolution on the floor. Can I get a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Bennett. Any discussion with respect to the resolution? Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The town initiated Municipal Plan Amendment Number 23, 2025, and Development Regulations Amendment Number 30, 2025, to enable the development of Number 1 St. Catherine Street, is the former Millcrest Academy site, for a medical office clinic and residential units, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Okay, I'm going to call on Councillor Feener now to go back and read that 8.2.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Proposed resolution for council. The council approved the acceptance of funding under the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, CHIF provincial stream for the construction of a new water storage tank and rehabilitation of the existing water storage standpipe located on Andrews Crescent in the amount of $5,065.01, HST rebate included. The towns require 30% contribution of $1,519,500. The project is cost shared at 30% federal, 40% provincial, and 30% municipal.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Feener. Can I get a seconder for the resolution, please? Councillor James, thank you. Any discussion with respect to the resolution?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Feener.
A remotely operated vehicle, ROV, inspection of the Andrews Crescent water storage standpipe was completed in July of 2024. A landmark municipal services. The final inspection report was provided to council on November 2024 as part of the original funding application. Identifies several deficiencies and recommends rehabilitation within the next 1 to 3 years to maintain a long-term integrity and reliability of the structure.
Thank you, Councillor Feener. So, much needed work being done on the two water towers near Andrews Crescent, between Andrews Crescent and Brown Avenue. We'll have a new water tower, which is much needed. We've had some water issues in the past here in Grand Falls, Windsor. So that will help correct that, and certainly we're going to repair the existing water tower as well, and that will help matters as well, for sure. Any more discussion with respect to the resolution by Councillor Feener? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Okay, our next item is item number 10.1, and I'll call on Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you, Mayor. It is recommended that council approve the proposed 2026 meeting schedule as presented. The schedule is proposed to provide regular meeting dates throughout the year, allowing sufficient time for agenda preparation, departmental reporting, and public notification. The schedule aligns with previous year's practices and supports transparency and efficiency in council administration. Council meetings are scheduled annually to ensure orderly conduct of municipal business, including decision-making, reporting, and public engagement. I recommend council approve the 2026 council meeting schedule as presented to ensure consistency throughout the year.
Now for resolution, Councillor Hiscock. Thank you. So that's straightforward. We've set up a schedule for 2026 for our council meetings, and there's a resolution on the floor. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution is carried. Item number 10.2 is an information note, and I'll call on Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you. This information note is prepared by staff and reviewed by council, which provides a summary of disbursements over $1,000 as of November 30th, 2025, in the amount of $1,311,197.96. Also disclosed in the report are pre-authorized payments of $338,575.91 and invoices under $1,000 in the amount of $54,587.32. The town's disbursements for this period reflect necessary operational costs, capital commitments, and community investments, in addition to payments relating to partnerships with other government agencies. Management will continue to monitor expenses and report disbursements at future meetings.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Any more discussion with respect to the disbursement report? There being none, we'll move on to item number 10.3, which is also an information note. Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you again, Mayor. This information note is prepared by staff and reviewed by council, which provides a summary of taxation receivables as of November 30th, 2025. The total taxation receivables amount to $3,326,692.26, which is an increase of $274,359.52, 8.99% compared to the previous year. The accounts receivable aging shows that 57% of the receivables are current, and the remaining amounts spread across 1, 2, and 3+ years. Monthly collections for November 2025 amounted to $726,343, which is 18% of the total accounts receivable. Staff have been utilizing water shutoffs, sending reminder statements to residents and businesses who have yet to pay their balances. Please contact the Town Hall at 489-0402, 0403, or 0404 with any questions about your tax bill. Management will continue to monitor taxation receivables and report updates at future meetings.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Any more discussion with respect to the taxation receivable analysis? Councillor Hollett.
In regards to the increase, it says it's 8.99%. Is that due to the increase in our mill rate that we had last year, or is it that people are paying?
That amounted to between 11 and 12% was the increase in revenue due to the mill rate. So our increase in receivables at November are slightly less than that increase now. So which is a good sign in terms of collections. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion with respect to the taxation receivable analysis?
Yeah, just a couple more comments, Mayor. I know we did have some success with the water shutoffs, and we know, obviously, this time of the year now, that's not an option to us. So I would encourage residents who have been making regular payments to catch up on their taxations, that because that threat is, not usable at this point, that they would still continue in good faith to make those payments. We will certainly continue to work with residents. If they have any questions, comments, or, facing financial hardship, we will work with them and work out a payment schedule for them so they can get out of arrears moving forward.
Thank you. Very important. If that residents drop down to see your staff, and if you're behind, we'll work something out that's good for both of us, and I'll give you an opportunity to catch up on your arrears if you have any. Okay, any more discussion with respect to the taxation receivable analysis?
Yeah, I just want to make one point here. It seems like I'm looking at the numbers that are here. In 2025, our property was at 454, but in 2024, it was at 162. Businesses are at 73 in 2025 and 33 in 2024. Water and sewer, 2025, 513, and in 2024 was 158. So it looks like we're having a significant increase in the numbers that are going on the listing.
So that relates to the tax year of what's outstanding. So obviously the majority of it is in the current year, so which is why the 2025 column is higher. So not necessarily what it was at that point last year. It's in 2020 at November 2025. Those numbers for 2024 is how many are left outstanding at 2025.
So these are what's outstanding still for the previous years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why those numbers are decreasing
But
as you
it's
go.
still a
right?
significant number of properties and businesses at 73 that
Yep.
have outstanding numbers, and it's, well, at this point it was November, but that's seems to be a very high number.
And that's why it's important for, if you own a business or a residence and you are behind, to drop down and see your staff and to come up with a plan that's good for both of us, as I just said. Okay, any more discussion with respect to the taxation receivable analysis? There being none, we'll move on to item number 10.4, and I'll call on Councillor Hollett. Item number 10.4, with respect to the forcing smoking enforcement.
Smoking enforcement hospital grounds. The issue is correspondence was received raising concerns that hospital security personnel are unable to enforce the no smoking policy at Newfoundland Health Services facilities and inquired whether the town could establish a local bylaw to support non-smoking enforcement. And this is just an information note, so there's no motion.
Certainly, the town is unable to do that. The hospital is a provincial, is legislated provincially. And we had an email from a gentleman here in Grand Falls-Windsor who was upset that when he enters the hospital, there are several out by them front doors smoking. And wanted to know, could the municipal enforcement officers here at the town of Grand Falls-Windsor help curb or ban the smoking in front of the hospital? Unfortunately, that's a provincial, all under provincial legislation. We're not able to go to the hospital parking lot and do that as a municipality. Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, just a clarification on that. It's patients and not residents or people, visiting people who are out smoking. And that's the unfortunate part about it, that people are out in the wheelchairs or whatever in this type of year. And it's an unfortunate thing that, it's got to be done. But like I said, it's above and beyond us. It's not our jurisdiction, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I frequent the hospital quite often, and I do see this on a regular basis. I'm not sure if the town can actually reach out to hospital personnel and ask them if it's possible to have the people who are smoking outside who stay in the hospital to make a spot out in the back of the hospital for them. And that would alleviate all the smoking that's out in front of the hospital, which looks really terrible, especially if you're going into a chemo treatment and someone's having a cigarette right by the door. It makes no sense. But if the hospital, if we approached the hospital and said, is there somewhere out in back we can put the residents if they want to go have a cigarette instead of out in front of the building, where it looks kind of terrible.
Thank you, Deputy. Any more discussion with respect to that? And I think, Mr. Finn, we should send some correspondence to the South and Central Health Foundation and ask them if Deputy Mayor Bennett's idea is doable. And certainly, if we all know Newfoundland Health Services go and anybody's involved in running a hospital, but as Councillor Hiscock pointed out, most of our patients are going through a hard time anyway and would like to have a cigarette if they're smokers, and therein lies the issue. Okay, so we'll get that done, Deputy Mayor, and we'll move on to item number 10.5, our tax arrears sale bylaw. Councillor Foley, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council direction is required to adopt the arrears sale bylaw enacted under the authority of Section 7 of the Towns and Local Service District Act, SNL 2023 T6.2, which establishes the legal framework for the sale of real property in arrears to recover outstanding taxes, fees, and associated charges. The proposed resolution is that Council approve the arrears sale bylaw as presented pursuant to the authority granted under Section 7 of the Towns and Local Service District Act. The town is authorized under Section 7 of the Towns and Local Service District Act to establish procedures for the sale of property in arrears. The current legislation strengthens municipal authority for tax collection and outlines timelines, notice requirements, and procedures for the disposal of properties that remain in arrears. The arrears sale bylaw provides a clear procedural framework that aligns with Division 8, liens and arrears, Section 146, notice of arrears, and related provisions of the Act. It outlines the requirement for a council resolution directing an arrears sale, service of notice of arrears sale to owners and all registered interested parties, the process for appeals within 14 days, advertising requirements, a minimum of 30 days prior to sale, public auction procedures, including partial property sale authority, authority for the town to bid on and purchase properties, requirements for adjournment and re-advertising if a sale cannot be completed, distribution of sale proceeds, including Supreme Court involvement for amounts greater than $200, provisions for failure of purchasers to pay, vesting of title and insurance of a conclusive conveyance by the town, and maintenance of the tax lien, even if a sale is set aside. The bylaw ensues due process, transparency, and compliance with provincial legislation, while enabling the town to recover outstanding arrears effectively and with reduced legal risk. I recommend that council approve the arrears sale bylaw pursuant to Section 7 of the Towns and Local Service District Act, enabling the town to conduct tax sales in a fair, transparent, and legally compliant manner to recover property tax arrears as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. We have a resolution on the floor. Can I get a seconder for the resolution, please? Deputy Mayor Bennett, thank you. Any more discussion with respect to the tax arrears sale bylaw? And as Councillor Cody outlined, we have several abandoned residents in Grand Falls-Windsor and have been abandoned for quite some time. In fact, we search diligently to try and find who owns the properties. Sometimes we even have trouble with that, but I guess starting soon, when this goes through, those residents or houses will go up on a tax sale, and the town will be able to collect the back taxes on it and would be able to dispose of the delinquent property. And certainly, it takes a while to get to that point, but we're at the point now where there are some houses in Grand Falls-Windsor that need to be addressed, and we'll do that through Councillor Coley's resolution. Any more discussion with respect to that? We have a resolution on the floor, and we have a seconder. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Item number 10.6, the accommodation tax bylaw.
Thank you, Mayor. Council direction is required on the adoption of the tourist accommodation tax bylaw enacted under the authority of Section 129 in the Towns and Local Service District Act, SNL 2023 T-6.2. Approval will implement a 4% accommodation tax applicable to all tourist accommodations operating within the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. The proposal is that council approve the tourist accommodation tax bylaw as presented, enacted under Section 129 of the Towns and Local Service District Act. And I recommend that council approve the tourist accommodation tax bylaw enacted under Section 129 of the Towns and Local Service District Act to implement a 4% accommodation tax on all applicable tourist establishments within the town of Grand Falls-Windsor as presented.
Okay, we got a resolution. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Feener, thank you. Any discussion with respect to the accommodation tax bylaw? Councillor Hollett.
In regards to tourist accommodations, can we have some clear, like what would come under this? Like, is this Airbnbs? Is it hotels? So what actually would come under the 4%?
It would be the Airbnbs, nightly rentals, hotels, bed and breakfast, any nightly accommodation or long-term accommodations. And this also, this has been in place in the city of St. John's for many, many years. I guess one of the benefits of this type of taxation is that it doesn't directly affect our residents because we don't necessarily be tourists in our own community. So it attracts revenue from people coming outside and staying in our community. And then the revenue, which would be reported by the businesses who are required to collect and submit on a quarterly basis to the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. And we have the ability to use that revenue in accordance with what the Act outlines that we can spend that on. And there's various options available to us that we will explore. But again, it's an option for us to obtain and collect some additional revenue that we have not been collecting and have not been able to collect. So now that the new Act is in place, we certainly have the ability to do that.
Okay, I think there's...
I just want to say thank you. I wanted the clarification is good because I was wondering, because there's a big concern with some of the Airbnbs and so on, where we're taken away from some of the rental properties. So to know that there's going to be a tax implemented on them, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. And, like I said, as Councillor Cody noted, City of St. John's and other larger municipalities in the province, some have done this, and I think the staff figured that even at a 50% occupancy rate throughout the year, it would result in approximately $200,000 in tax revenue for the town. And council has agreed that that tax revenue would be used for tourism and tourism only. So the money is earmarked for tourism, and the onus, as Councillor Cody said, is on the business owners or the hotels or the Airbnbs to collect that 4% tax and pass it over to the town at the end of each year. Any more discussion with respect to that? We got a mover and a seconder on the resolution. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Now we'll move on to item number 10.7. I think is it Councillor Cody?
It is. It's related to the 2026 budget as well.
And this is related to the 2026 budget, which we'll be going through at the end of this meeting. So Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you. This item was removed from the general 2026 budget documentation. A decision is required to approve the budgeted amount for the Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association for the 2026 budget year. The proposed resolution is that council approve a grant for Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association in the amount of $80,000 for 2026. The CBA grant allocation from the 2026 budget discussions is to remain at $80,000 for 2026 and to be reevaluated during the year before all the funds are dispersed. This item was requested to be voted on separately from the main budget approval. The recommendation, as I move, is to approve $80,000 as a budgeted grant amount for 2026 for the Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cody. Can I get a seconder on the resolution? Councillor Hiscock, please. Any discussion with respect to item number 10.7? Okay, Deputy Mayor Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. After we had our meeting last week about this, I mean, I find it very difficult to approve the $80,000 because every time you look at social media, Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association's giving money to charity, which I have no issue to give money to charities, but a charity shouldn't be given to a charity. You know, it is a lot of money. They worked off of $40,000 for 28 years, and now it's $80,000. And you know, it's kind of difficult to swallow that extra $40,000 on that part. And you know, you're looking at the organization. We will need a unaudited financial statement before any money is given out to the organization, and I would have to see what that unaudited financial statement shows, and we'll have to sit down as a council and determine how much they actually get, and if there is a plus money there, we'll just, as far as I'm concerned, we'll just have to take it from the $80,000. It's you know, it is kind of difficult, and you know, I'm on the fence of voting yea or nay on this, but I think I got council's wishes behind me when it comes to this. So you know, and looking at social media over the last month, I mean, there's been a lot of money given away by the Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association. It is a charity, and they're giving to charities, which I have no issues giving to charities. It's no different than the town of Grand Falls-Windsor take the $40,000 and give it out to charities ourselves, instead of them taking money from us and then giving it out to charities. So, like I say, I'm finding it quite difficult. That's it.
And we did meet with the board of directors of the Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association some weeks ago, and they did present their financial report up to that time. I think their fiscal year ends at the end of March. And so then we'll receive a full financial report. We agreed that the $80,000 would be left in the budget for now, and that if there was any issues with respect to their financial report, then we would go back and review it again. With respect to Corduroy Brook giving away money to charities, the only one I know is of they are involved with the River Golf fundraiser every week. I think the charitable organization you're referring to counted the toonies on a weekly basis for the CBEA, and a lot of the organizations do that as well. I know the Special Olympics receive money. They contribute their volunteer services for a week a month as well. So I thought we agreed in the council chamber, in the meeting, that when we receive the final financial report from the Corridor Working Association, which we should get near the end of March or the beginning of April, we will review it then, and we thought also that it would be better to leave the $80,000 in for now, and when we review, we'll decide whether the full $80,000 should be granted towards the CBEA. Those questions that were raised by you, Deputy Mayor Bennett, should go to the Board of Directors of CBA for clarification. I agree with that. So when we, near the end of March, when their financial reports are complete, we'll ask the Board of Directors to come back in again and to provide some clarity on where their revenues are being distributed. So anybody else got any discussion? Councillor James.
Mayor, did we not also agree that the audit that would be undertaken would be an independent audit that would be sponsored by us? Am I correct in that?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So there will be an independent audit so that everything is hunky-dory and above board, and we'll decide who that auditing company is going to be. And then when that audit comes in, we'll just work from that. Am I correct in that?
You are.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. Councillor Hiscock.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. If I may, just a little clarification with regards to the monies. River Gold has a bunch of people that help. Okay, there's three major people that benefit, you know, the Heritage Society, SPCA, and Corridor Brook. Some of these people don't have enough people to do the counting. As a result, some of the groups, it could be fraternal organization, service organization, and like you said earlier, Mayor, Special Olympics, they come in and they put their volunteers to work to help do the counting. And as a result, these people are paid a stipend. So when you see sometimes it's a check being donated, it's for services rendered, is not a donation as per se. So it's sort of a little bit, you know, misleading there as such, right? Okay. But that's the reason behind it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock. Councillor Feener.
I was also with the understanding we were going to approve the $80,000, but we were going to, I thought we were also, but we were going to give them $20,000 up front and pending the audit. Okay, thank you.
Yes, exactly what we do every year as well. So I think we got any more discussion with respect to that minute, that resolution? Councillor Cody.
I feel like I'm constantly defending Corridor Brook, and with good reason. I mean, the work that they do is amazing work. They provide a wonderful amenity to the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. The work that they do in maintaining that trail would cost us significantly more than $80,000 in an annual grant. Their fiscal year begins on April 1st. They're going to base their budget. We're budgeting $80,000 in this budget. When they prepare their budget for April, they're going to base their budget on that $80,000. So, I mean, if our intention is to not give them that full $80,000, then their budget numbers are going to be off. It's going to put them in a bit of a tailspin because they're budgeting on what we're budgeting for them. Not to let the cat out of the bag, but there's $1.3 million allotted for Gorge Park enhancements in the 2026 budget. That $80,000 that's going to Corduroy Brook, like I said earlier, would cost us a lot more. $1.3 million for Gorge Park. We're constantly getting calls for trail maintenance, board repairs, potholes, grading, trees down at Gorge Park, and we can barely keep up with that. If we had to maintain the Corduroy Brook trails, we wouldn't be able to do it. And of some of the arguments that I've heard, about charitable donations and their administration fees are getting higher and trail maintenance is getting less, there have been zero complaints that I have heard on anything, any deterioration in the trails at the Corduroy Brook that Corduroy Brook is responsible for. They maintain those 4 seasons. I mean, we don't maintain Gorge Park 4 seasons. They're out there grading and making sure that residents have clear paths to be able to walk that, all through the winter months, plus all of the other services that they provide as well. So, you know, it's, I don't know. It just boggles me that there's always so much discussion and so much apprehension when it comes to supporting the Corduroy Brook Trail, just based on if they said tomorrow, here you go, we'd need a lot more than $80,000 to maintain that to the standard that our residents have become accustomed to by Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association's maintenance of that trail.
Councilor Cody, and we did do some research with respect to what it costs other communities to have a trail, and it's into the hundreds of thousands of dollars to the east and west of us, so good point there, Councilor Cody. Deputy Mayor Bennett, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just final thought of this here, like, the organizations that's under the umbrella of Grand Falls, town of Grand Falls-Windsor, there's probably 4 or 5. I mean, like all of them, they try to become self-sufficient. So, you know, like, I work for an organization that is trying to become self-sufficient. So we put in proposals to the federal government, to organizations across the country. We get $12, $15 million a year. And it's easy, not just Corduroy Brook, I'm talking about the other organizations we have also that we give money to. They can certainly apply for the funding as a nonprofit to get the same type of money back. And then they wouldn't be dependent on, and not just Corduroy Brook, I'm looking at the YMCA, I'm looking at, you know, and the other places. They can certainly apply for these programs and collect thousands, if not millions of dollars a year to offset their cost. And then they're not coming back to the taxpayers of Grand Falls-Windsor. And they, you know what? At the end of the year, if it's $80,000, they can have $800,000. It's so easy to do. It's not difficult to write a proposal, send it off. You may have to send 5 or 6 before you get one, but you get that one, and that will be an asset to the organization. So I suggest in 2026 we approach these organizations and say, you know what? Let's start writing proposals to Ducks Unlimited, you know, the Heritage Canada, you got ACOA, there's hundreds of organizations out there that will accept proposals and give you free money. And that can be used for trail enhancement, it can be used for things at the golf course, it can be used for the YMCA. It all can be done, and you know, it works for one, it should be able to work for another. Thank you.
And the town does meet with all these organizations that are under our umbrella for community grants, each and every one of them every year. We go through their financial statements, and then we decide whether or not that the money allotted by the town of Grand Falls-Windsor should be awarded to them. And that's what we'll do in this case. Near the end of March, when the Corduroy Brook Enhancement Association fiscal year ends, we'll meet with the board of directors, we'll present them with any questions or any concerns council has on the matter, and we'll take it from there. And if they're showing a profit or a huge profit or they're in a negative balance, we'll deal with that as well. And that's what we intended to do, and that's what we do with respect to all organizations who receive funding from the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. Any more discussion with respect to Councillor Janes?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. And we had a very, very enlightening discussion on this, so I won't go into any more detail on that. But having had the good fortune at one particular time in my life to work at Corduroy Brook many, many years ago, I found it quite rewarding, and I'm going to echo a good chunk of what Councillor Cody said. You know, this has been a very, very, very good program in this town for a long time. It's been an employer. It's put us on the map in certain ways when people come from away. Now, having said that, we do need more publicity on our tourism. There's no question about that. But this has been a going concern for us for a long time. The agreement that was struck was an independent audit. We had our go at it. We've decided this is how we're going to do it. I suggest that we get this audit done, let things go as they are. The money is in the budget, and if it stays in the budget, great. And if there's any discrepancies, which I have no idea that there is any, it'll be dealt with. But make no mistake, this is a valuable, valuable project in this town. Very valuable. And like Councillor Cody said, you get into having to take over some of the groundwork here, administration and all that, and it's going to be really, really tough on the town. But having said that, to finish up, I do understand that there's 3 sides to this coin. and we've had a hearty conversation on it. This is where we are, and I hope we can see fit to move forward now and just take it on a daily basis from here on in. Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Councillor Janes. Councillor Hollett?
I just want to reiterate what Deputy Mayor Bennett had said. I think we need to look at some self-sufficiencies, and we're looking to taxpayers to look inside their households to cut costs, and I think that organizations need to do that as well. So they need to look internally to see, I mean, 40,000 was one thing, and it doubled in 1 year, and I think they need to look back into their own organization to find some additional savings that they're not coming to the town looking for more money. Thank you.
Councillor Hollett. So we look forward to the discussion with the Board of Directors of Closure Book Enhancement Association, and when their fiscal year ends, and as Councillor Janes noted, we'll take it from there. We do have a resolution on the floor. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? One. So the resolution is carried 6-1. Okay, the next item is number 10.8, and I'll excuse myself for this particular item.
Well, this is the first for me. The mayor had to step out because this concerns the golf course and he would put himself in conflict. But there's a decision note here, and I'll ask Councillor Cody to read the decision.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A decision is required to approve the budgeted amount for the Grand Falls Golf Club for the 2026 budget year. The proposal is that Council approve 2 grants for the Grand Falls Golf Club totaling $27,000 for 2026. The $25,000 of the amount relates to the annual grant from the operating agreement that started in 2023, and $2,000 is the annual grant supporting the Junior Golf Club program. And again, this item is separated from the full budget approval due to perceived conflict of interest for Mayor Mike Brown, as he is also Executive Director of the Grand Falls Golf Course. So my recommendation is to approve the grants totaling $27,000 as a budgeted amount for 2026.
Any more discussion on the matter? Oh, sorry, I need a seconder. Councillor Hiscock, any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, now on item 10.9, I'll call on Councillor Cody to present the 2026 budget.
Thank you, Mayor. As Corporate Services Lead, I'm pleased to present the 2026 municipal operating budget for the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. The 2026 budget is the first budget for the newly elected council, and it is a budget that I believe reflects the priorities from each of our campaigns, priorities that will tackle the issues that residents have brought to our attention. This is a budget built on fiscal prudence, strategic investments, and a commitment to the financial well-being of our residents. The plan is more than just numbers. It's a roadmap for a stronger, more sustainable community. It ensures we continue to provide high-quality services while tackling our long-term infrastructure needs. Council has prioritized affordability for its residents in the 2026 budget. While we recognize the impact that inflationary pressures are having on the cost of living, we must also acknowledge that these same financial impacts affect the operation of the municipality as well. Council and senior staff met this challenge head-on and worked diligently to find efficiencies within our budgets to build a plan that will work for the entire community. Council is proposing to decrease the residential property mill rate by 0.35 mils. The new proposed residential mill rate will be 9.15, reduced from 9.5 in 2025. and will result in a total residential property tax revenue of $10.9 million. The decision to reduce our residential mill rate reflects our commitment to easing financial burdens on residents while still maintaining core service levels. This decrease provides tangible tax relief to property owners in Grand Falls-Windsor, and we believe this adjustment is a crucial step in recognizing and responding to the financial pressures facing our residents today. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor remains one of the lowest among comparable communities in terms of taxation per average household. We recognize that our seniors, our most vulnerable residents, face significant financial obstacles. This budget continues to provide relief in various ways for this sector. A targeted adjustment we are making is in relation to personal care homes. Upon consultation with stakeholders, we as council have made the decision to reestablish a special category for personal care homes at 4 Mills. Also, in 2026, we will once again offer a seniors discount for residents aged 65 and above when paying their municipal taxes before March 31st. Unfortunately, however, this may be the last year that we can provide that discount to our community. We've been advised by the provincial government that the legislation does not allow municipalities to offer a discount based on an age requirement. We did not feel that stopping this discount at this time provided enough notice to our senior residents, and therefore it will continue for one final year in 2026. We will continue to discuss the issue with the province with the hope of maintaining the discount in the future. All other proposed mill rates for the 2026 budget, such as commercial property tax and other business tax categories, remain unchanged and will result in revenue amounts of $2.5 million and $9.2 million, respectively. Housing remains another focus of council, as it is a cornerstone of a vibrant and growing community. Access to safe, diverse, and affordable housing options is essential for attracting new families, supporting our local workforce, and ensuring that our seniors can continue to live comfortably in the community that they helped build. To address the growing demand for residential space, the town continues to proudly utilize the Housing Accelerator Fund. This federal funding is a strategic tool that allows us to remove the common barriers to growth. By leveraging these funds, we can provide direct incentives to developers and crucially invest in the necessary infrastructure that opens new land for development. These investments make it more feasible for builders to start new projects and subdivisions, ensuring that Grand Falls-Windsor remains a welcoming and accessible place for everyone to call home. Even while lowering the residential mill rate for members of our community, we can still say that this budget will provide the dependable service levels that we are accustomed to. We will continue to make strategic investments into Grand Falls-Windsor that will improve the quality of life for our residents and improve the experiences of those who visit. $650,144 of our operating revenue is allocated towards capital investment, which will ensure that council's goals will be met without overburdening our fiscal position with borrowing. Our total expenditure for the year is budgeted at $25.4 million. Of this amount, every dollar spent goes towards keeping our town safe, clean, and functional. We will continue to provide the necessary services that our community has come to expect while ensuring that these services are delivered effectively and efficiently. Key expenditures include amounts that are earmarked for delivering critical services at an exceptional level, such as snow clearing, garbage collection, and utility maintenance. In 2026, Council will continue to spend resources to improve the quality of water for residents in certain areas of town who have been subject to intermittent instances of discoloration. Council has made it a priority to rectify the long-standing issues that these areas have been experiencing with their water, and we are striving to gain improvement this year. Orthophosphate treatment was a commitment made by the prior council that we plan to start its implementation early in the new year. While we have worked to ensure our operational spending is dutiful, a truly responsible budget must look beyond the immediate year. We cannot afford to sacrifice investment in our community for the sake of cutting costs alone. We as a council have a vision for Grand Falls-Windsor, and strategic investment in our capital projects is vital in realizing our vision. This vision involves Grand Falls-Windsor as a growing and booming hub, a destination for people to live, play, and do business in, with state-of-the-art recreation facilities, outstanding amenities, and quality functioning infrastructure being operated and maintained in dependable fashion. Our 2026 capital budget has a significant investment in the future of Grand Falls-Windsor, totaling $15.6 million, and will include money allocated towards water and sewer infrastructure, with our largest single investment in this area being $5 million for the tank rehabilitation and new tank project, ensuring the safety and reliability of our water system for decades to come. Additionally, we are including funds for Phase 2 of the Circular Road project, which was originally budgeted in 2025 but not completed due to contractor availability. We will continue to plan for major commitments in the area of recreation, which we strongly believe will offer much in the way of boosting the quality of life of our residents, as well as appealing to visitors and tourists alike. These commitments include $2.9 million for our proposed community center, $1.3 million for Gorge Park enhancements, including riverfront trail upgrades this year, and other recreational commitments such as new bouncy castles and the creation of a new disc golf course to be located at the Exploits Nordic Ski Club. Funds have been earmarked to go toward purchasing new heavy equipment, which will enable us to deliver services effectively to the residents of Grand Falls-Windsor. This includes snow clearing equipment, such as a new trackless sidewalk machine and a new tandem flyer plow with wing. Additionally, with safety and well-being of the region in mind, Council has approved the purchase of a new Jaws of Life equipment for the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department. In closing, Mr. Mayor, the 2026 budget is a clear statement of our collective priorities. It represents the commitments we as councillors made during the election campaign. This budget is a blueprint for how we wish to see our town grow and flourish while delivering services effectively and efficiently. We are doing this while still reducing our residential mill rate, keeping more dollars in the pockets of our residents, and still maintaining a strong financial position. Mayor, I move that Council adopt the 2026 municipal operating budget and related 2026 schedule of rates and fees.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. You got a resolution? Can I get a seconder for the resolution? Councillor Hiscott. Any discussion with respect to the budget? Deputy Mayor Bennett, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to say that the mill rate has decreased by 0.35 mils, which that was a goal of mine, actually a little bit better than the goal of mine when we first began. But I talked to the mayor just earlier. I could have went on about everything about the budget, but he told me just pick one or two, give somebody else a chance. So the taxation on seniors' homes. During the election, I was going around to the seniors' homes, and I met a lady. That was there, and she told me that where the mill rate went up to 8.5 mils last year, she was getting $130 a month. And then the owner came back and took another $30 on her. She had to live on $100 a month, which broke my heart. It certainly did. So I'm hoping now that we're putting the mill rate back to 4 mils for the seniors' homes. I certainly hope that the owners of the seniors' homes is going to put the money back into the residents' pockets by doing this. And I'll continue to follow up with this throughout the year and see how things go. But I'm quite happy with the budget. It's a good budget, and I'll just pass it off to somebody else now, and they can speak on other things. So that's it for me for now.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And back to your point, yeah, some of the homeowners did raise the rent on the residents at the long-term care homes here in Grand Falls-Windsor. So we expect fully that the money would come back to the residents, if in fact that's why it was increased in the first place. Councillor Feener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to touch on a couple of issues there. I fully support the budget. It's a great budget, by the way. Water quality improvement, improving water quality remains a key priority for council. Like, we've had these issues for the last number of years. It seems to be getting worse, I guess, as time goes on, but hopefully now with all the new inclusions that we're going to add to our water treatment system, that it's going to rectify the problem as much as possible. Capital investment, building for the future. Investments include like water, sewer infrastructure, recreation, public projects, public works, equipment, emergency services. I mean, that stuff is, is what we need for, for this to help this town. When we look after the garbage collection and snow clearing and stuff, so we need to upgrade our equipment and keep it on today's level. The the trackless sidewalk clear, that's going to be a real plus for the community. So I'll leave it for everybody else to have something else to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councillor Hollett, please.
There's a lot of highlights in the budget that are positives. As mentioned, the reduction in our residential mill rate, no change for our commercial property tax and business tax. We had a reduction for idle land tax from 15 mills down to 5 mills. And of course, the all-important one that Deputy Mayor Bennett mentioned, which was the personal care homes. So we're going from the 8.5 in 2025 down to 4. The water tank rehabilitation and the new water tank, all good things. The orthophosphate, which is going to be implemented early in 2026. The only thing, however, with that one is the orthophosphate chemical treatment process is generally should be part of a broader strategy that includes infrastructure improvements. And the other one is the seniors discount that we're going to continue with in 2026. Now, some of the other things that are of concern for me in regards to the budget is we have a capital projects for infrastructure is $15.6 million, but we only have $1 million for paving. And that's a major concern for me. I mean, I think the average or what we should be shooting for is between 5 and 6 kilometers a year, and we only had 1 kilometer of paving in 2025, and again in 2026, 1 kilometer of paving. That is a major concern for me. The water and sewer lines and road improvements, we have $1.8 million earmarked for Circular Road Phase 2, but in actuality, that's not a new project because it was allocated in our 2025. So with that being said, I don't see any new water and sewer line infrastructure going ahead in 2026 other than a carryover of what was in our 2025 budget. I have concerns because there's no money allocated for our dead-end water lines, in particular the west end of Main Street. We're developing that area. I think there's 5 new homes that went in that area, and that's a major concern for me that we're not actually had any money in there to address those concerns there. We have recreation. We have the new rec complex and the Gorge Park. We have $2.9 million for the new rec complex or community center, or I'm not sure what the name is on it, and Gorge Park Phase 2 at $1.2 million. We have our ATV trails and other rec at the exact same amount that we have for paving, and which is $906,830. So to me, that's a concern when our roads we're only getting 1 kilometer of paving, and we're using the same amount of money for recreation. So those are concerns for me. Long-term infrastructure, I think we really need to start focusing on our road paving, water and sewer line replacements. Our capital out of revenue is just over $650,000. I think that's low. If we have any unforeseen issues that arise, that's either going to drop our capital or it's potentially going to increase our borrowing. So that's a concern. As we are here now, we don't really have a strategic plan in place, and that's a concern. I think we really need to make sure that we focus completing our strategic plan and implementing the strategic plan in 2026. And I think we need to look at looking internally for ways to cut more costs. I think that's somewhere where we need to focus. And I think public consultation for the New Rock Complex. I think these are big projects, and the Gorge Park Phase 2. Those are very big projects. I think we need public consultation. I think the details should be provided to the citizens, and all residents should know exactly what the total cost of each project, feasibility studies, long-term borrowing amounts, cost implications to residents, and if this is going to affect capital projects like water, sewer replacement, and paving. And to date, I have not been briefed on either of those projects. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hallett. Councillor Hiscock, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in favor of the budget, Mr. Mayor, and it's a lot of work, first and foremost, by our directors. Our department directors did on a lot of work in their departments to streamline as best they could. And of course, I always say to our Minister of Finance, Mr. Goss and his team, for putting it all together, and I think it's a fabulous budget, without a doubt, and there's a lot of hard work by some individuals, and thank you very much, and I'm in support of Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Janes.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I'm going to piggyback on what the deputy said about the senior homes cut. It is absolutely huge, and a lot of us spent a lot of time in those particular facilities over the election campaign, before and since. And like the deputy mayor, I fully expect these one or two individuals with this huge cut to not implement the cuts that they were talking about coming in on the 1st of January, and to let the people of Grand Falls-Windsor know that some of the ways that this was worded against the council prior to and now was that this was all the town's fault, and any increase and all increase that they may do in these seniors' homes was all going to the town of Grand Falls-Windsor, was all because of the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. And that is so false and so further from the truth. And it's actually ridiculous. It really makes me a little angry to have to go out and talk to these seniors, which I'm going to do again tomorrow, and re-explain to them, we're not getting $280 a month from you people. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor is not. They would never do that. This is a wonderful start with a lot of hard work going in. And I like the deputy mayor, I've had the stories like that too, where people are, like they're almost like they're students again. They're in grade 9 and 10, and in order to go to a movie, Councillor Feener got to put it on for them, or they can't afford to go. And that is rampant. That is true. And before I get into my grand finale on water and sewer and water quality, which is a huge issue, I'm glad Councillor Hallett brought up what she did, because she is actually absolutely right. But the people of Grand Falls-Windsor and certain other areas of this community have to understand. I have heard conversations that are not front and center yet, but they're percolating. There's other areas in both towns that are really getting close now to getting their kick at the can to get their water and sewer upgraded, because Grand Falls-Windsor is an old town, and it has to be done. But there's only so much money can go around, and it costs a lot. But I'm quite confident over the next 3 or 4 years of this council, we're going to see big improvements in water quality upgrades and construction. I firmly believe that. On a more positive note, not that anything was really negative, economic development. Let's talk about some economic development, because as I had this conversation with the CAO a couple of times, we're always reacting to some tough news. With the lack of media accessibility and availability in this town now, with certain print media is gone and radio media is gone. You know, wasn't for 94.5 FM, we'd probably be lost. So a lot of good news gets lost in the shuffle. So let me give you a little bit of good news. I'm excited. We're assisting MSA Labs as they ramp up their operations, creating 26 new jobs in the mining sector here in Grand Falls-Windsor, as well as Equinox Valentine Gold Mine, which is moving from construction to production phase. These 26 new jobs are going to be based here in Grand Falls-Windsor. I do believe, I stand to be corrected, they are already up on the websites to be advertised for. They are in part and parcel with the Equinox Valentine Gold Mine. We're continuing to work with 2 different private developers on the design and construction of 2 larger apartment complexes here in Grand Falls-Windsor. The town will be receiving proposals from 2 or 3 private sector proponents regarding the development of several cottages, a 20-room inn, a microbrewery, and a Nordic spa. Continuing to work with 2 commercial developers on the development of 2 major commercial retail development projects here in Grand Falls, Windsor, with both projects that are separate from the one I just mentioned, currently in the site selection stage and showing great promise, ladies and gentlemen. Continuing to work with several commercial developers on the development of a new 80-room hotel. Long overdue. Let's get cracking on 2 or 3, 20 and 30 now. Continuing to work with the CBDC, the Exploits Chamber of Commerce, on several related initiatives, including Explore Exploits, which is a comprehensive online directory of goods and services. There's so much going on that we're focused on in the region. Regional development here. Exploits Visitors Guide here, but at the end of the day, all of this will come in and will benefit the town of Grand Falls immensely while we work with other related communities, surrounding areas, to bring tourism, tie up these loose ends, and move it forward. It's time, and it is possible. There's a large trail development coming here, multi-use recreational trail. This development will result in a funding application to ACOA and jobs growth and rural development upon the issuing of a license to occupy by Crown Lands. Minimal cost to the taxpayer of Grand Falls, Windsor. Continuing work with the Exploits Valley YMCA, ladies and gentlemen, Harmsworth Public Library, and Kingsway Living on the development of an adult care program. A needs assessment was completed this past year. Good news is coming. Continuing to foster our strong relationship with the medical community in Grand Falls, Windsor, including the faculties of medicine and nursing, Newfoundland Health Services, and community-based groups. Did you know we have 91 nursing students in this town as we speak? Years 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's good news. That's big news. We're continuing to support the Age-Friendly Committee, formed in 2010, working with the Newfoundland Hospital, Exploits Valley YMCA, Exploits 50 Plus Club, and Friendly 50 Plus Club. It's rampant. It's running rampant, ladies and gentlemen. Excite also continues to foster developments under the Canadian Cancer Trials Network, as well as genomics to the Faculty of Medicine and the Health Simulation Lab. There's that much technical stuff there I can't go into it, Councillor Feener. I can't handle it. To conclude, just to say thank you so far in my brief tenure here, of all the places I've been in the last little while, whether it be cutting ribbons, saying hello, getting briefed. I went to a little program there last Sunday, the Science, Technology, Environment, Mathematics program, affectionately known more as STEMLE Lego. 3 years is in. These kids come in to build robots. They program them, and they get them to do the things that they want them to do. How engaged these kids' parents and grandparents were blew my mind. Something to behold. We got excellent student facilitators from Exploits Valley High, mentoring grades 3 to 6 across beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. Grand Falls, Windsor, ladies and gentlemen, is the only community in Newfoundland offering a full year-round robotics program at this scale. Something that the person that's responsible for this, I'm not going to tell you his name is Stan, should be proud of. The kids are sharp, they're engaged, they're thriving. The parent feedback has been outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the good news, more. We have lots of young girls in this program, but we're crying for more. We have more places there. There's a new program starting up again in January. I want to thank you on behalf of council to the YTC for partnering with us to build and deliver this program. Enrollment is limited. Winter program starts in late January. Folks, it is possible, and follow the town's Facebook page for more updates. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Janes. Councillor Cody.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate everybody's comments on the budget. And I do want to say a huge thank you to our directors and staff for all their input into the budget, into our deliberations, the conversations, and the information that they contributed to help make our decisions. Do I agree with everything that's in this budget? I can't say I do. I'm not going to vote against it, but I do support it on the whole. Some of the decisions that were made, the personal care home decision to lower that mill rate, I do not feel that that is in our best interest. That was a significant amount of revenue lost. The personal care homes were reevaluated and taxed at the level that we had previously decided on as a reflection of profitability. You know, it's unfortunate that they chose to use that as an opportunity to ding their residents, who are also, these personal care homes, largely subsidized by the provincial government. So to put that on the backs of the residents and blame the town for it, I think was in poor taste. And I'm not pleased about that at all. I don't feel that us rewarding them for that behavior by lowering that mill rate in such a drastic way is beneficial, especially when we talk about the infrastructure needs, the cost of paving, everything else that needs to be done. You know, that's why we review these tax brackets and we review our revenues and costs to our residents as diligently as we do, because needs have to be met. Lowering the mill rate, I'm happy that the residents will see a break. Not all will see a break. They won't pay as much as they would have had we not made an adjustment. But some people will still see increases in their property tax assessments based on the assessments because they have increased. So I'm happy that we could, minimize that a little bit for them. But again, our capital out of revenue, looking into our 5-year plan, in year 3, we're facing some difficult decisions. If the projected enhancements to our community don't happen, like the housing starts, the business startups, the enhancements from the possible rec center, those are all long-term projects. And we know that those things don't happen overnight. So, we need to be careful in how we plan, how we project, and what we do. We don't want to give relief now when we're going to induce hardship 2-3 years down the road. That's not our plan. So, I'm pleased that we could come to a consensus on the budget and that, this budget is presented tonight. Again, I do support it. And again, our staff has worked so hard to make the adjustments that they were requested to make to present this budget, knowing full well that it was going to create some hardships in their departments and how they operate and the equipment and the tools that they need to do their jobs on a daily basis. So, again, thanks to staff for all your hard work. I appreciate it. And to council for your hours and hours and hours of deliberation and conversation in preparing this budget.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. And just a few notes from myself, I guess. We are spending millions in the foreseeable future to address the discolored water situation we had in town with the orthophosphate and the new water towers. And again, in one of the hardest hit areas of town with respect to discolored water, we are doing a major infrastructure upgrade on Circular Road as well. With respect to the long-term care homes and the tax decrease for those people, that tax decrease brings us in lines with other communities. In fact, some communities don't charge mill rate at all to seniors' homes in their towns or cities. But I think we've gone back to a more reasonable mill rate for the seniors' homes, and I think that, as Councillor Cody said, we're hoping the residents see that, a reduction in their monthly rental fees as well as a result of that. The new flyer we're ordering, a snow flyer, a dump truck snow flyer, $550,000, help with snow clearing. And as Councillor Feener said, the sidewalk snow blower as well will help us get to the sidewalks quicker. I think we got 3 in operation now, Mr. Chapman, and this will be the 4th one. Pardon?
Replacing one is in.
Okay, so it'll still be 3 when we get this new one. And we do get out to do the sidewalks as quickly as we possibly can as well. We look forward to the improvements at Gorge Park. It's a definite go-to spot for residents and tourists traveling through Grand Falls-Windsor. And for the kids, 2 new bouncy castles, which will occupy their time throughout the summer and at all our community events. We're in dire need of that, and I'm happy to see it there. And a new sport coming to Grand Falls-Windsor in the disc golf that will happen at our ski chalet on Scott Avenue. And that's an ever-growing sport, and most towns already have that in their community, so we look forward to that starting up as well. But like I said, the highlights for me are the millions being spent to address the water issues in Grand Falls-Windsor, for sure. And the new equipment for the Public Works Department will also help address some dire needs as well. And 2 new sets of pedestrian lights. I think one is going to go, those pedestrian lights, the flash.
One replaces a broken set.
One replaces a broken set, and the other one is near Haskins Funeral Home, which is a dangerous, dangerous spot. But they are needed for the safety of the pedestrians, and they are effective as well. So I'll be voting in favor of the budget as well, and look forward to the discussions happening in the next few days with the residents. And I think, I'm hoping most people will be pleased with this budget just on the mill rate reduction alone. Okay, any more discussion or comments on the budget? Councillor Janes.
Yeah, I forgot to vote on the budget. I got too excited. I vote for the budget.
Councillor Janes, you'll get another opportunity now shortly to do that as well. Deputy Mayor, oh, sorry, Councillor Hollett.
To point out, I'm not sure if anyone mentioned it or not, but I thought it was important to point out that we will be getting a Jaws of Life. Right? So I just wanted to bring attention to that, because that's certainly a good thing.
For the firefighters in Grand Falls-Windsor, certainly a necessary tool for them to do their job. We're fortunate that the Grand Falls-Windsor Fire Department is certainly one of the best in the country. When it comes to responding to calls, I think they're almost at full capacity now with respect to membership after a few years of being down. So we're fortunate that the money is allotted for the Jaws of Life. Okay, any more discussions or comments with respect to the budget? We got a mover and a seconder for the resolution. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The 2026 budget is carried. Sorry? Oh, Councillor Hollett.
No, I voted nay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do that again. Sorry, Councillor Hollett. All those in favor of the budget? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So the resolution is carried 6-1. So it's time to move into new business now. And the last time I think I left off at Councillor Hiscock. Were you first last time? You're up.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. First off, Mayor, thank you. We had a busy time since our last meeting. Santa Claus Parade went over our 68th Santa Claus Parade, and we had over 60 floats. Biggest crowd ever. It was phenomenal, and I'd like to thank Deputy Mayor for helping me to do some commentary on the parade. It was just a fabulous job. Wanda Healy and her committee, which you and I are members of, but it was just a great job, and thanks to everybody on that. And I just say to everybody, stay tuned. There's lots coming on to Grand Falls-Windsor. Of course, the Church Road Park is lit up. It's beautiful. You get a chance to take a walk, and it's just absolutely fabulous. Also, the Salvation Army Kettle campaign is still in full force there, and if you get a chance to go out and donate, please do. Money stay here in Grand Falls-Windsor. And I'd like to say, just think about our men and women in uniform who won't be home this year. Think about all those men and women, and keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And from my house to yours, each and every one of you, Merry Christmas. I wish you all the best, and may 2026 be the best one ever. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Hull.
Thank you. I'm going to keep it very brief. I mean, we've had a long evening. In regards to derelict properties, I received an update today from Mr. Chapman, and the process is a slow process, but we are making progress. So I just want to let everyone know in the community that this is being worked on. It's a little slow, but have a little patience with us, and we're going to get there. And other than that, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone, and peace and joy in the holiday season, and a Happy New Year to all. Thank you.
Councillor Feener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to go back to your proclamation there with Red Ribbon Day. 8 years, February the 4th, I am a survivor of a horrific head-on collision on a TCH caused of an impaired driver. So that really strikes a vein with me, and I want to appreciate you doing that. I want to also thank the staff, guys, for all your work you done on the budget there. I mean, it was phenomenal. I know you guys did a lot of hours punched in that, you know, so I really want to give you a heads up and thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was a great job. Well done. I also want to wish everybody here, guys, a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. This year started off on a low scale for myself, but to see a few months later that I'm here, and I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas again, and thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Councillor Feener. And we're all glad you're here, buddy, and you went through a tough time. We all know that. And speaking of going through tough times, Deputy Mayor Bennett.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a rough year. Councillor Hiscock, that day at the Santa Claus Parade, that was amazing. I was looking so forward to next year, actually, to doing the same thing. It was a very enjoyable day, and I did have to mention that day that I've seen a lot of Santa Claus parades before, but the mayor and Councillor Hiscock seen many more than I did. But you know, I had to get that point across during the day. But we get a birthday in the family tomorrow. Somebody call her my mom, my aunt, my sister-in-law. But Chris Bennett is her birthday is tomorrow, so if someone sees her around the stores tomorrow, just mention to her a happy birthday. A huge congratulations going out to Howard, the other Blackie Bennett. He rang the bell last week from throat and tongue cancer at the Hayes Place Murphy Centre in St. John's. Not only this man is a very close family member of mine, but he's my mentor. I just want to thank him for helping me to be the person I am today, and he's the main guy for doing this. So I wish him all the best, as he's going to have a bit of a recovery, but he's going to do quite well, as the family's been hit with cancer 3 times in a year. So, but anyhow, I personally want to thank the staff of the Cancer Centre in Grand Falls-Windsor, the emergency department, the ultrasound department with Kim and Becky and Dr. Pedro. Everything that you have done for me. It's just a phone call, or just show up and it's automatically, they're there for me. A special thank you to our former Mayor Waldman Blackmore and his committee for hosting a wonderful Keep Christ in Christmas on November 30th. Great event. It was absolutely wonderful. I would like to wish the residents of Grand Falls-Windsor a very Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year. So from my family, Hilda, Jordan, Shannon, Allison and Ben, and my world, my grandson Noah. And finally, I want to congratulate my wife Hilda, who will be retiring after 34 and a half years with the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. She's looking so forward to January 5th, and I'm sure I will not retire, because I don't think 2 of us can cohabitate in the same house. So anyhow, she'll retire, but I will not. All right, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bennett. Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to just say thank you to Rogers Cable. They're not here tonight. I think that's our fault for rescheduling our meeting, but they do cover pretty much all of our council meetings. They cover all of our local community events, and they're always supportive. When we call for them, I mean, we know they're struggling with volunteers and staff, but they certainly make an effort, Jeff Barry especially, to show up and make sure that our events get broadcast and seen by people who cannot get out to enjoy them. I think that's a very valuable service that they provide. So I wanted to just say thank you to them for that, and I look forward to working with them again in 2026. And from my family, myself, my children, Isaac, Faith, and Teresa, 2025 was a year, to say the least. I think we've all experienced something not so fun in 2025. We're looking forward to an uneventful 2026. And I wish all of our residents, our staff, council, all the best for a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate the season. I wish you peace, joy, and love, and a prosperous 2026. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Councillor Janes, last but not least.
I want to thank the staff as well, from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And I also want to apologize to Kara, Savannah, Steve, for my ineptness with IT and computers. I kid you not, I don't have a dust. So I thank them. To my family who's plugged in, are we on Facebook or something here, or Skype or something?
YouTube.
See, I don't know. To all of them, I want to wish them Merry Christmas, because they're all across the country coming in. To the people that gave me an opportunity to stand here tonight as a counselor, to our team, I want to say a great big thank you. I'm not really started yet. I got a long way to go. I need a lot of help. And with this council, I'm feeling quite confident and feeling better more and more every day that it's going to continue to get better. I'm going to continue to learn. My phone is there. I can only promise you I'll work as hard as I can. But I also want to say a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to each and every one of you and your families, especially to the little kids out there. And another big shout out to the seniors in this town, without who we wouldn't be here, who have put a big, big bill on this community, and they continue to do so. So I feel good. I feel strong. I could be vibrant, but I'm ready to roll. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. God bless you, and God keep you.
Thank you, Councillor James, for those words. I also like to thank Mr. Gosh, you and your staff for preparing the budget. I know you worked overtime for the last week or so to get all that on paper and get it all figured out. So to you and your staff, a sincere thank you from council, and to all the directors as well, Mr. Mercer, Mr. Chapman, and Mr. Finn, a sincere thank you for all your hard work that went into the budget as well. And to our staff and to our directors and our staff and our workers, a very Merry Christmas, and we hope you get to enjoy the season. Just a couple of notes before we do sign off. I'd like to congratulate the Exploits Valley Eagles, who won the Ronini's hockey tournament over this past weekend. Another big victory for that hockey team. So congratulations to all the players, coaches, and staff, and that kind of stuff. And I'd like to congratulate young Alex Chapman. Alex worked with us a couple of summers ago, I think, and as a student. And he's the son of Nelson and Lisa Chapman. And he just graduated 2 weeks ago from the RCMP Academy in Saskatchewan, and is now stationed here in Newfoundland and Labrador. So congratulations, Nelson, to you and Lisa, and my good friend Thomas. And I'm sure you're pretty proud of that. Your son Alex joins Deputy Mayor Bennett's son, who is also a rookie RCMP officer on the island as well. So we're in good hands, I would think. To the people of Grand Falls-Windsor, thank you very much for your support throughout the year. I'd like to wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas. Christmas is all about old memories and reliving old memories and making new memories. So we hope that you can all get to that point during Christmas. It's also about joy, peace, and happiness, and we hope that you get to experience all those emotions during Christmas. And we also hope that 2026 is your best year ever to each and every one of you. So with that, I'll give one more opportunity for any words from the council. And if not, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Deputy Mayor Bennett, second by Councillor Feener. All in favor? Aye. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.